All right, so Mythgard, for people that haven't seen it before, this is a fully digital card game that I've been playing a bit of in my off-stream time, and we've added a couple of days per week to it. So we started doing some deck submissions. So this was a build-around submission for Canines in this game. So the canine cards in this game, a lot of the cheaper ones gain bonuses when they're adjacent to other canine units. So this is kind of a tribal-style deck that's interested in playing a bunch of cheap minions out next to each other that give bonuses to each other for being close together. To try and pull that theme together, we've got Journey of Souls here as our path, which allows us to recover minions as they die to kind of keep that threat density up so we can keep those bonuses together. And I'm also giving Mend a try as the power, as a way to heal our canines so they can stick around longer. Because remember, in this game, things don't recover damage that they take at the end of each turn. For people that haven't seen this game before, I'll do a little bit of a rundown of kind of some of the key differences between this and Magic. One of the great things that this game does differently than Magic is the resource system. So this game has 6 different colors in it. So there's a distinction in what your cards are doing based on what colors they are, and there's a lot of unique deck building in this game, just like in Magic, but there aren't land cards in this game. So at any point once per turn, just like playing one land, you can burn a card in your hand to turn it into a resource and a color of that resource. So the game does a good job of keeping that deck building depth that Magic has while removing the resource variance and screw. Flood and screw. All decks are burn decks. All decks burn cards, yep. So it technically doesn't shuffle. So because it's a digital game, you don't need to shuffle to keep people honest. So it inserts the card randomly back into your deck. And notably it doesn't insert it on top. So if you burn it, it puts it in, but guaranteed not on top. I think you mean actually. Yep, you're not wrong. I don't have any 1-drops in this hand, but I do have a 2-drop Bold Omega into a 3-drop Pointman. I've heard this deck's control matchup is rough. You will be fined for that pun and removed from the chat. All right, so generally speaking, you want to burn some of your more expensive cards. So like, for instance, I've got 3 4-drops in my hand right now, so I'm going to go ahead and burn one of those. You can see when I burn this, it goes back into my deck. I gain a total resource as well as a blue gem because I burned a blue card. When on the right side here, there is an in-game deck tracker that's built in. So you can see Winter Wolf is a card that I burned, and it says there's 2 copies that are green, which means they haven't been burned yet, and there's 1 copy that's orange, so it has been burned. On my opponent's side, I can also flip to their deck tracker, and I can see what cards they've played out that they've burned already. So I want to play a green 2-drop here, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I burn a green card this turn, so I have enough green thresholds for that. The combat system in this game is super unique and interactive. So when you play minions out, they play out onto one of these 7 lanes, and then when you attack or block, you have to attack or block the 3 lanes in front of you. So in order for this unit to be able to attack, it has to attack one of these 3 spots here. You cannot burn a card a second time. That's why it's important to have the distinction here that it has an orange one that's been burned already. So my opponent played a minion out here that was 1/1 with Rush, which lets it attack right away. And this minion's basically a pseudo removal spell. The minion that it deals damage to, it gives Blight to, which slowly kills it. Or in the case of my tiny guy, kills it right away. I played it over to the right kicker because I wanted to kill their maze here, because killing their maze denies them card draw. So rather than prioritizing breaching, I wanted to prioritize killing their unit. So I disagree with your assessment. So this card gains one defense every turn, and then when it's at 3 defense, my opponent can cash it in to draw a card. So, in fact, this card's going to go up on my opponent's next turn to let them draw a card already. So I'm going to deploy this 2/3 down over here, so that way it can kill this maze before it gets big again. Is there a card game for the PC where I don't need an immense amount of money to play the decks I like? Well, that's how these games exist. Games wouldn't exist if the developers didn't make money off them. So, in order to have every card in this game, you either have to spend your time or your money. Yes, so the crystals next to a deck's cost is how many thresholds they cost. So this card, in addition to costing 5 resources, it demands I have two green thresholds. Similarly, this card costs 3 and requires 2. This is a 4/3 that when another minion's created, they gain 1 life. While this is in play, this effect also triggers when another minion dies. Started playing Mythgard after your recommendation. What's a good free deck to start with? Honestly, if you're interested in getting into Constructed, I'd recommend just giving their what's it called, decks a try, the feature decks. So this has a mechanic called Defender, so if I want to attack, I have to attack this way. And then their 4/3 is set up to eat my guy next turn if they want to. So I think I want to deploy something next to this here, because this gets bigger while there's Canines adjacent to it. So putting this here makes this larger, so now these will trade, which is nice. And then I want to go ahead and burn a card for the turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn Thunderclap here. It doesn't look like they're a deck that has a lot of little units in it. One of the things I also really like about this game is because you're kind of choosing what cards you're getting rid of each turn, it gives you, it eliminates that kind of wrong half problem that you frequently see in like mid-range and control decks in Magic. So you get to play actual meaningful games more often because you're not just like, oh, I have this card, but my opponent's playing an aggro deck, so it doesn't apply here. No, I'm playing the PTQ right now. That's why we're playing Mythgard. So I could trade these here. God's Blood Infusion gives this 2/2 in regen, which I think is actually pretty good because this unit gets bigger every time it takes damage. So I can have this happen here, and it shows their unit's gonna die, and mine's gonna take 5 damage. But this has regen now from the power-up, so it's gonna heal 2 at the end of my turn, which is great. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and just burn the Winter Wolf here, and then play out the Bold Omega over this way. The Bold Omega gets a bonus when it hits my opponent directly, so I'm going to play it down here on this lane, so that way this minion can't block it over here. I am using Journey of Souls for the path in this deck to try and recover our Canine units. Oh, they had the Blight minion, right, which gets rid of this. So they played this out, which stuns the unit across from it, so this can't attack this turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and just play Giant Stairway over here, which makes this a 4/5. So this is an enchantment card. Enchantment cards in this game are occupy a specific lane, and then minions in that lane gain a bonus. So in this case, any minion I deploy on this first lane now is going to be +3/+3. Someone had asked the best way to get started once you're looking to play some Constructed. So one of the great things the devs of this game did was when you create an account, you get access to what they call their feature decks. And the feature decks are a rotating set of community-built decks that you can play for free without putting any actual money into the game or owning any of the cards. So you can kind of sample what Constructed looks like in this game without having to spend money on it first. There are not cards that play out on your opponent's turn in this game, no. So my opponent has 2 artifacts over here, and artifacts give you different bonuses or penalties. In this case, my opponent's artifacts give all their minions +1/+1. this game has a very big focus on interaction. So one of the things I like that even though my deck doesn't have any cards to interact with artifacts, I can eventually break these artifacts by attacking my opponent. So every time I hit my opponent directly as opposed to one of their minions, their artifact loses durability. And eventually if I get this 12-0, it breaks and disappears. So they played out an 8-8 here. Feels like we're just going to get outclassed this game. So I can kill their 2-3 here. And this only takes 1 damage because it's armored. They have an 8-8 though. Like I could start deploying minions down here on this lane. But their things are just so large, I'm going to get quickly outclassed with all of my units. Like, my deck's playing a lot of things that are kind of lower to the ground. And so, like, at this point in the game, when we get into, like, turns like 7 to 10, my opponent's average card quality is going to be higher than ours, I think. Woof. Yeah, there was someone playing Simic Flash who finished in the top, what's it called? The top 16 of the, Hey, Hatch, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You choose to use the word whoop? Yeah, it feels like we're dead here. This was a build-around submission for blue-green canines, and like after talking to other people in the community and looking at lots of different cards, I'm not sure if this archetype is really competitive in this game currently. This might be, they're supposed to have an expansion for this game early next year, and maybe like the first expansion will add some cards to make this playable, but I'm not sure that this deck's going to be very competitive. There's a reason why I queued this one up in the casual queue as opposed to playing ranked like I usually do. The overlay is very well done, and the overlay is built directly into the game client, which is great. I don't have to fumble around with third-party applications. Yeah, the canine bonuses force you to clump, and there's a lot of cards in this game that punish you for not spreading your minions out. Also, this deck, this archetype's looking to be aggressive, and like clumping your minions when you're aggressive makes them all easier to block, which is also not an ideal setup. Maybe I should have actually kept the other pack trooper because I don't actually have a 2-drop at the moment. I think this game needs a mulligan system. I don't think it does actually. I think the lack of resource variance probably makes it fine without a mulligan system. Deployed. I think if your deck's built well, the number of games you're gonna have like unplayable hands are like pretty low overall. Helm of Conscription. Give a minion +1/+1. It's now a soldier. So I can deploy this here, which makes this bigger because it's an adjacent canine. So this can smack here. Burn the heavy off. How does the card system work? Buy, sell, trade, etc. So they use a blend of Magic, Arena, and a Hearthstone style system where there are wild cards in the game, but there are also what's the word I'm searching for? There's wild cards, but there's also a crafting and dusting system, which is great. This is a 2-3. Now, I might just give up on trying to attack this. In fact, I think I'm just going to slide down over here and try and just hit their face. Because it has Defender, so I can't attack anyways. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn this Detained here and play out this 5-4. Yeah, so the canines are a mix of werewolf soldiers as well as actual dogs. So the green ones are like werewolf soldiers, and then the blue ones are mostly actual dogs. Alpha would not have been a 6/6 there, because it died at the start of my turn to Blight. And actually, a good visual way to remember, too, is Avenging Alpha's artwork looks different when it's going to come in as a 6/6, which is a sweet, sweet attention to detail I really appreciate. So this is a 1/1 for 1 that restores durability to their artifacts. I'm going to go ahead and burn the giant stairway here because I don't have double blue for it anyways. I'm going to go ahead and drop the heavy over here.
Covering fire.
Is there a rarity card system or all cards equivalent? There is a rarity card system, and one of the things, the rarity in this game is not just the frequency at which you can acquire them, it's also how easy it is to, or how many copies of those cards you can have in your deck. So for example, you can see here, this card has 3 silver dots in its corner. That means this is an uncommon, and I can only have 3 copies of it in my deck. So the number of dots in the corner of a card dictates the rarity, but it also tells you the frequency at which you're going to see that card out of your opponent's deck. So like, Winterwolf here is a common, I can play 4 copies of it. So this came into play and stunned my 5/5. Think I'm just passing here. I'm gonna burn the pack troopers.
Enemy sighted.
This is the first deck of the day, Captain. Alright, sorry. Pause from our Mythgard content. Magic the Gathering, colloquially known as Elk cards or just Elks, is both a collectible and digital card game centered around turning creatures into elks and adding 1 or 2 counters to planeswalkers. Oh, that's great. So my opponent's actually playing something similar to what we're going to be doing in a second here, which is they have an artifact called Dragon's Teeth that makes each player draw an extra card each turn, and then they have the Stretcher here, which makes your opponent take 1 damage whenever they draw or discard a card. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Mangus here, which this comes into play. It deals 2 damage to my opponent and all of their stuff. And then I can trade, actually, so sequencing matters here. I'm gonna burn this Thunderclap and play Sons of the Pack here, which makes this a 3/3. So I'll hit their face. And then this can trade here, which makes this smaller, but it takes their maze off the table, which is nice. Yeah, very, very Owling Mine-esque. Remember when I said one of the problems with playing this strategy is it encourages you to clump your units together and you get punished for doing so? This is one of the premier cards in this game that punishes you for clumping your units. It does 3 damage to each of the minions in the opposing 3 lanes, so it just like killed 2 of my things and hosed a 3rd. Alright, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and deploy Avenging Alpha here.
Soldier down.
This is a 6/6 because they killed 1 of my minions last turn. Red is like undead style things. There's like vampires and zombies and stuff in there. They keep stunning my stuff. Mezzo Libre is very good. Hey, thanks for the 3rd of a year, Pixie. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, well, we drew a detain. That doesn't really do anything for me. I'm gonna go ahead and burn this detained off since I don't need it at the moment. Junkyard Valhalla is super powerful here. This is an enchantment that says at the beginning of my turn, if I don't have a dredge minion and this is unoccupied, it returns the bottom minion in my graveyard to play and makes it a dredge. I'm gonna go ahead and play my other Avenging Alpha over this way, so it's a little bit harder to spread my guys out to make me harder to block. My opponent's enchantment here comes into play with the snake and then makes the snake every turn. Serpentin is a little annoying. Hey, thanks for the 7 months of Prime support, Hayes. Hope you're having an excellent Friday wherever you are. Just endless. Endless Libres are super annoying. Alright, so I got this guy back. Huh? I think I just want to play a 4 and a 5 here, just to like spread out a little bit. So I think I'm going to play another heavy here. And then I'm going to go ahead and burn this Winterwolf to play another Winterwolf out over this way. How much money does it take to buy every card in the game? I don't know the answer to that. I'm about I've got about 400 packs, and I've got a pretty just about complete collection. I think I'm missing like 15 mythics. That's brutal. So this gives all minions in play Blight 3, which means they all get 3/3 smaller every turn. So opponents like playing a control deck that like slowly racks us out. I think the rack's probably going to kill us, I agree. There is a competitive ladder in this game, and their roadmap has that they are looking to add a in-client tournament system by the end of the year, is what their roadmap says. Alright, so these are both dying next turn, but these are also getting -3/-3 next turn because their things got plated too. So I guess I'll attack this and attack this. And then these will die on their turn. And then I might as well have this attack in here because it's going away here in a second too. I don't really want to Traitorous Murmur this because its ability is drawing cards. And I'm currently taking a lot of damage when I draw cards. I think I'm going to go Giant Stairway here. And then play this out here so it can block this bull nicely. This also gives me a giant minion across from their Serpent Den, which is okay. I don't really want... if I burn the Traitorous Murmur, I could use my men to heal up here, but I don't really want to burn this. If they play a good minion, I want to be able to steal it. So they have 2 stretchers now, so we're taking 2 damage per card we draw, so probably dead here. I don't know how long we're going to spend on this deck specifically. I think it's probably not very hopeful in terms of being competitive. Although they did just give us a giant guy to steal, so, you know, maybe. Oh, and this has lifelink, so I can kill this here. I can steal this. I can gain 1. Probably still dead. They only have to deal 1 damage to us to kill us here. We're not dead next turn. We're only taking 4. If we take even a single damage, we're dead next turn. Yeah, this is, this person was playing this deck on the ladder yesterday too. How are we drawing a 3rd card? They only have 1 Dragon's Teeth. Am I missing a draw from somewhere? I don't think I have anything that lets me not be dead next turn, though. I don't think. So I can do this, but that's like too little, too late. I guess I could have put this next to it to gain an extra 1. But even if I gain an extra 1 and gain 1 here, I still only get up to 4. And I'm dead to that there. Yep. Let's give this one more try before we move on. We're actually gonna play something very similar to what that opponent just played. A stretcher control deck. Let our minions die. We're working on that one really well here. What are our missions today? Deal damage, win 5 matches, burn red cards. We're gonna burn red cards in the next deck, so those are probably fine to keep. Yellow's your favorite color? I like orange and red personally, I think the most. Okay, those are the ones that I've had the most fun playing with. Ugh. Yeah, I like that they added these faction missions. If you're someone that's looking to get in while spending minimal dollars, I would recommend if you have $10 to spare, the intro pack for $10 gives you like $30 worth of stuff. So like that's enough to build a reasonable deck a lot of the time with the mythic or two. But if you're looking to put in $0 if you just spend minimal, completing all of these quests, if you work all the way through these faction lines, you get wild cards and packs and money to buy other packs, which is a nice mix of things. Oh, this hand's super unfortunate. It's funny, we were talking about does the game need a mulligan system? So like, our deck has 4... That's super unfortunate. We have 12 things that cost 2 or less. Just don't have any in the opener here, which is unlikely, but hey, that's a 3-drop at least. So gonna start by burning our 7-drop here. Don't need that for a long time. One of the things that's really sweet in this game that I think is excellent game design is the path that you pick with your deck gives you a bonus when you're on the draw. So the pursuit bonus is a bonus you get when you're not on the play. So in this case, my pursuit bonus is I start with 2 extra souls. So the first minion I have that dies is going to immediately snap back up to my hand, which is great. Yeah, I agree, Kerfinex. This game has an incredible amount of player agency in it compared to a lot of other card games, especially to Magic. Magic's a fairly low player agency game, all things considered. I think if you are in the market for a digital card game, I would highly recommend this one. So, player 3 drop out.
Taking point.
For either watching or playing this game, it has to be hot if we do recommend it. Yeah, I agree with that. So, again, the way combat works, if they want to attack with this 2-1, they have to attack into my 2-3 here. So, while you can attack other minions similar to Hearthstone, it is a blocking element like coming from Magic, so playing defensively can be a lot more profitable instead of just like worrying about people attacking your face down. So they gave their 1-1 deadly here, so it traded with my 3-drop, but my 3-drop's going to pop back up to my hand because of my pursuit here. And then actually, my Avenging Alp here, you can see its face changed because he got angry. So normally this is a 4-4 for 4, but if they killed one of my minions, he's a 6-6 for 4. So let's get in there, Wolfie. I didn't used to be in the market for a digital game, but that standard got turned into an elk. Yep. And this game has a great mobile client too, so a majority of my time spent playing this game before they did some sponsored segment was on mobile. What are my thoughts on artifacts in Mythgard? My experience with artifacts in Mythgard is my only decks that feel like they have a hard time dealing with artifacts are my decks that aren't very good to begin with. So I would be surprised if the current artifacts are unbalanced. So I'm going to play this here, which gives adjacent canine minions 1 attack and overruns. This is going to crush this and then also crush their face here, which is great. And then I think I want to burn something and deploy my Bold Omega over here. Actually, maybe I want to put the Bold Omega... If I put it next to him, he gets bigger, and then it makes this bigger as well. Yeah, let's do that.
Enemy sighted.
Yes, you always damage the last played artifact first, if they have multiple artifacts in play. I agree when the artifact decks get going, they can be tough to interact with, but like, your engine payoff should be strong, in my opinion. Okay, so they gave this card is an orange staple and it's very good. Dark Passenger gives a minion deadly and demise draw cards, lets you like, well that was a good draw. Take another one of him, give this overrun. We might get on the scoreboard here, chat. Might be heading towards the scoreboard. I'm just gonna go ahead and activate my power here. Heal myself and my canine. So the green dogs are werewolves, and the blue dogs are actual dogs. So Winterwolf here is a real dog. They're all real dogs to me. So this can't take more than 3 damage inside of combat. That's brutal. I don't really have a good answer to that. So I think the answer is just move over. I think is my plan here. Then I'm going to deploy Junkyard Valhalla, because this is probably going to kill one of my minions next turn. Maybe I should have taken Winterwolf and played it out down here. They are at 8. I should have taken a more aggressive role here, probably. Could have probably just run them down. This thing's got overrun here, too, so it's threatening to race me on that aspect as well.
Fortune favors us.
Where are the types on a card? The very bottom. So this says Canine Soldier here down at the bottom. Canine Soldier, Canine Soldier. Alright, so that comes back. This can treat, or can eat this. I life tap a little bit. I think I'm just going to go ahead and run this in here. So this way I have a minion in my bin. So that way if they kill this next turn, this will come back, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and deploy an Avenging Alpha down over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and burn a heavy and put the Son of the Pack over here. Sons of the Pack. Kind of spreading out my units to make it a little bit harder for my opponent to block here. Aaron, thank you for the 15 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Opponent's got a lot of cards in hand here, though. So we're ahead on board, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to catch back up here. Especially if they have, like, an Armageddon Angel to clean the board out. How does Fragile interact with can't take more than X damage in combat? I believe it's still capped. I appreciate the free money, Aaron. You can click on your opponent here and follow, block, or mute them. You also take a look at their profile and see what rank they are. If this isn't marked private, you can see what their collection looks like. Burned up to 9, eh? One of the things you'll notice is that I've stopped burning cards in my deck. So my deck overall tends to have a bit of a lower curve. So aggro decks in this game frequently stop playing cards out at like the 5 to 7 resource marks. You can just like have more action. So they knocked us to 8 by temptationing our thing here. That stops us from attacking them with it next turn. But they're actually, if they don't, I'm assuming they're going to deploy some blockers down here because they're actually dead on board to the point man coming back here. They said oops.
Glory eternal.
How did they have me dead, by the way? What am I missing? Oh, they could have slid Stag down. Yeah, so their power gives them extra move action.
Soldier down.
I feel like I don't want to deploy too much here because we're going to get Gidden Angel. Like, Gidden Angel is their way out. But they also just, like, have a bunch of units and they have a Deported to bounce something next turn. So I also kind of feel like I just want to play my stuff out so that way I can, like, kill them next turn if they don't have a Gidden Angel. Armageddon Angel, for people new to Mythgard, is a 7-drop that destroys all minions in play when it drops down. I think I'm supposed to gamble on the Angel. Like, there's still 25 cards in their decks. There's a good chance they don't have it. I ain't scared. You're scared. Only one copy. Armageddon Angel is a mythic, so I don't have to worry about one copy. Lushy's pretty good. Lushy. Power and toughness equal number of minions in play. Second temptation is rough. Detain Deported is lethal, right? Shrink it. Boop it. Get that. Get the APM overkill in there. Just. I think one of our quests is dealing damage, right? Pretty sure one of our quests is dealing damage. Yeah, get that overkill damage. Oh, Wolf had Swift for lethal. Yeah, good call. Swift lets it move and attack in a turn. All right, we got on the scoreboard. All right, doggos. I believe in you, doggos. Opponent missed lethal, so we got there. Let's try one more. All right, Pack Trooper.
Deploy.
And then next turn we can go double Pack Trooper. Let me watch Mythgard here. Are there any combo decks? There's some pseudo. The Volition decks are like pseudo combo decks. Bold Omega is actually a great draw because it lets me burn another green card without having to burn this. So that way, next turn I can deploy the point man.
Deploy.
So these cards get 1/1 for each adjacent Canine. So the one in the middle is a 3/4. And then next turn I can burn a Winter Wolf and put the point man down here, which will make this a 4/4. Is MTG finished earlier or is this a Mythgard day entirely? We did some Magic to start today. So my opponent is also playing an aggressive deck, it looks like. So I gotta decide, do I want to play point man on this side so it blocks their 2? And I think I do.
Taking point.
I think I do. So their 2/2 will be forced to attack into my 3/4 here. We did 3 Pioneer decks before this one today, Reclaimer. As always, you can find my schedule on my website, which includes not only when I'm playing, but what I'm playing when. Huh? Thunderclap is pretty sick. This does 2 damage to my opponent and all of their minions. So I think I'm going to burn Winter Wolf here and then put Bold Omega down here, which makes this a 3/4. And then we'll go Crunch You, Crunch You, Crunch You. Use this to heal with my extra 2 resources. PTQ is 386. 384 is 9 rounds. RIP. Yeah, the opponent's deck is likely pretty aggressive. The infused power here that gives them an extra attack tends to imply they're aggressive. Yeah, if they thunderclap us back, our entire board doesn't die, and we can mend next turn, so that's nice. So we're gonna play that, eat my 1/2, sure. Might actually just win this race here, which is sick. .386 should be 8 rounds. That's not true. I don't believe. The number of players that the round goes up by stops being powers of 2 at 7 or 8. Yeah, I agree, Ghosted. Like I said, I bet this is an archetype that will be very reasonable if they get another key card in the second set. Like that start was absurd there, right? Like that really show. I feel like I think that on the head, this deck's looking for another 1-drop. If we get another good like 2/1 1-drop Canine when they release their first expansion, this archetype might have something to it. My girlfriend's dad just sent me an image of a letter I got from the government of Canada telling me I owed $600 before telling me it's a joke. I've never felt fear like that before. One of the things that I think, and one of the devs had commented that, or someone in their Discord commented this was something that was on their radar, that they're looking to do is that end of game screen where like it pops up a bunch of stuff at you. It would be nice if there was just one screen that showed everything instead of having to click through a bunch of times. Let's play one more with this one and then we'll dive on into the stretcher deck. Alright, this is a 1 into a 2. Oh, it's 1 into 2 into 1/2, which is great. We'll start by burning the heavy here. I don't need a 5-drop.
Deploy.
See, this person is bronze, but they have a pretty full collection. They've got 45% mythics, 97% rare, 65% overall.
All right.
A 2/2 here. It creates a healing potion to heal back their minions, so we'll deploy a Sons of the Pack over next to this. Oh, their power gives all minions Slayer 1, which means even if I deploy something next to this, these are still going to trade, which is unfortunate. Feels bad, man.
Enemy sighted.
Yeah, I also don't have blue. I could have deployed Bull Omega next to it too, though. Even if I deployed this because of the Slayer bonus, they would have traded. Yeah, I don't know how my deck ever beats this card. I think I'm gonna move on to the next one. This is a 2/1 for 1 that like comes back to their hand every turn. I just don't have the card advantage to play through this. And like this archetype feels like it has too shallow of a card pool to have a consistently aggressive starts. All right, let's